Howdy, folks. I'm a rolling lobster, Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some ocean floor. Alright, folks, our first letter this evening is titled, Am I a Jerk for Scaring Two Girls That Stole From Me and My Roommates Until They Gave Our Stuff Back? So, I live in one of 3 frat houses on my college campus, and as a result, our place is often the location of more than a few parties at each semester. Last semester, after every party, we would notice things would go missing, which isn't exactly abnormal, but when stuff gets stolen, it's usually very low value things. Beer out of the fridge, bottles of liquor, houseplants, flags, and things that we can replace pretty easily. Or its loss doesn't really matter to us. So we got upset by it, but we didn't really lose any sleep over it. We were letting like 50 to 75 people in, and sometimes stuff went missing. We're not idiots to think that it's not a risk. Well, this semester, it got worse. Valuable things went missing. Things out of people's rooms, sunglasses, shoes, and most recently, someone's AirPods. So, I didn't like this, so next party, I decided to set a trap. I left my door cracked, and I left my AirPods on my counter. I put someone's Bluetooth camera in my room and periodically checked it through the night. When I saw they were gone, I rewinded the camera and I saw who took it. It was some random chick, but luckily I was able to find her, and her buddy she was with. I kept an eye on them both and saw those two go upstairs to our rooms a few times over the nights, presumably to steal other stuff. I wanted my stuff back, and to see if I could get my other stuff back. So, when the night winded down, I offered them rides home, and they accepted. I found 3 of my brothers who also wanted their stuff back, and agreed to come with. They got into the car after the girls. So here's why I think what we did might have made us jerks. We drove to where they said that they lived and drove right past. This, of course, scared them, and we drove about 20 minutes past their place and parked, where the 4 of us questioned them and got them to admit that they had been doing this for a while. We got the stuff that they stole back that night and told them that we'll take them home if they bring out all of the stuff that they stole. Or we could just keep visiting them at their place until they do. Okay, we of course knew what we were doing. We're 4 men yelling at 2 smaller girls to scare them where they can't really do much to get away. It's kind of messed up. However, they had this coming. They have stolen hundreds of dollars from us, and all we did was tell them to give our stuff back, which they did, including all of the stuff that they stole previous nights. We could have called the police. Luckily for them, we didn't. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's a little bit of the jerk, like you shouldn't steal things, but you are the bigger jerk here.
Yeah.
The appropriate response would be to be like, hey, we have video footage of you stealing, return the stuff, or we're going to go talk to the campus PD.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you handle it.
That would have been the appropriate way to handle this situation, but OP, you decided to go and kidnap 2 girls and then threaten them with some kind of vague violence.
Right. This is psychologically traumatizing to drive them 20 minutes past their place.
20 minutes.
You know, if you're in a car and someone's driving 20 minutes past, there's no way for a girl this can end well.
This could mean any number of things, and I'm sure that they thought the entire time that they were going to be assaulted in some way, shape, or form, and OP, you had to have known how that was going to look. You even admit in your text here that you knew how this looks. But in the comments, he says, we didn't really know how this would look.
No, you knew. You even say right there that, 4 men yelling at 2 smaller girls who can't get away. Like, you know exactly what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Don't lie. Don't try to cover it up. You were being a garbage human being.
Yeah.
There was no excuse for that.
Yeah, and I mean, I certainly don't have sympathy for thieves to some level, but they didn't deserve this.
There's nothing wrong with reporting them to get the stuff back. They are not entitled to your stuff. That's fine. But they still deserve respect and dignity and basic human rights. Like, you cannot threaten people's bodily well-being.
Yeah.
You cannot make them feel like they might die or be otherwise in a bad situation.
Yeah. So I think in general, OP, yeah, I think that you're a jerk in this situation. There were a lot of other ways, a lot of other legal avenues you could have taken for this, but you chose probably the worst possible way. So anyhow, if they report you to the police, you may be actually going to jail, especially, and they may not suffer any consequences since they won't have any stolen goods at this point in time. You threatened them and you drove them out and you kidnapped them and detained them, so things might not look so good for you folks. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Punishing My Kid for Getting in Trouble at School? I am a 52-year-old male, and I have a daughter, Candy. Candy is a tall girl, 5'9", and just started her first year of high school this September. At her old middle school, there was no minimum length for skirts as long as the girls wore pantyhose underneath. Well, last week I got a call from the principal that Candy had worn something inappropriate to school and that I needed to collect her immediately. When I turned up at school, Candy was wearing a regular skirt and pantyhose, so I asked what the problem was. The principal explained that the skirt is above the knee, and they weren't allowed, and that my daughter's outfit was distracting. I didn't respond further and just took Candy home. When we got in the car, Candy started complaining about the principal and how the dress code was unfair for her since she's taller. I told Candy that she was grounded for not following the dress code since I had to take time out of my day to go and get her and then being embarrassed by the principal. She tried to argue with me, but then decided to just ignore me, saying that I don't understand. Candy has been ignoring me ever since, even though her grounding ended a week ago, and she still hasn't been out with friends. So I need to know, am I the jerk, and do I owe Candy an apology? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk, OP. This dress code was sexist and also discriminatory against people based on height. I'm a short girl. A lot of the clothes are made for people who are like 5'4", 5'5", are going to come up higher on someone with longer legs. It's just the way that works. So having dress codes that have to hit certain body parts are inherently limiting to tall people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what this boils down to. And I mean, OP does have an edit here where he says, okay, I understand I'm the jerk, and I apologize to Candy and have a meeting with the principal. So it does sound like from the Reddit comments that he's realized the kind of error in his ways.
And that's good. And going to the principal, I think, is the right course of action here, because when you have a discriminatory dress code, like OP was initially focusing on the wrong thing. I know it's frustrating to have to get your kid from school when you're in the middle of the workday, but to be like, oh, well, I was embarrassed by the principal. It's important to think about whether this rule makes sense. You looked at her outfit and you didn't see anything wrong with it. That should be your first clue that there might be something wrong here.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad that OP has seen the error in his ways. I hope the meeting with the principal goes well and you can get this dress code changed to something more accommodating.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea here, and we have our very last special guest tea. So let's hear a joke from Amber.
What was the reporter doing at the ice cream shop?
Well, the reporter had heard about a grisly murder in the back of the ice cream shop, and he was investigating it, and it was a hot summer, and what started happening is there was a terrible odor that came up from the ice cream shop's basement, and when the reporter went down there to investigate, he saw the bodies of the ice cream owner's whole family down there. It was pretty horrific.
Someone's been watching too much Burbs.
What happened? Why? Why is the reporter down there?
They were getting the scoop.
Oh.
I was too busy trying to remember the name of the ice pick guy from the Burbs. I was like, I can't, it's on the tip of my tongue. I know this one, but...
Yes. Oh, well, I shamelessly stole a story from the Burbs. And I have Mega Mint. Alright, and this is the last special guest tea. It is called Nighttime, and it's lavender, oat flower, and lime flower. No.
That was my thought as well.
I mean, I can taste the lavender. I guess I can taste the lime a little bit. I mean, the combination of flavors is just odd. Like, lavender and lime? Why would you think lavender and lime would be like a Like lavender's a relaxing flavor, whereas lime is kind of like a, stab you in the tongue type flavor. And why would you think that, hey, let's take something really relaxing like lavender and then pair it with something that's not relaxing at all? So I don't know. I don't get it. And then the oat is just kind of neutral. So I don't know. Maybe my palate's just not sophisticated enough for lavender lime oat flour. Yeah, it's definitely not sophisticated enough, let me tell you. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Amber, what's the moral of the story today? Don't kidnap people.
Yeah, I think that's the most important moral of the story.
If someone steals from you, please don't kidnap them.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Don't. Just don't.
Yeah, don't resort to kidnapping. There are many, many other avenues you should approach first.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
And as a result, our place is often the location of... Oh, why do you have a period there?
Because he's a frat bro.
It's going to be a long one because I can't trust his grammar now. Location of...